This is our extensive list of times Quagmire proved he was the greatest character on Family Guy. Starting with the time Quagmire discovered the wonderful world of the internet and went a little overboard with it in Family Guy.
I've been spoiled by internet.
It's true.
Totally.
What do you mean, internet?
So Quagmire, in all his wisdom and knowledge about all things dirty, has apparently never heard of the stuff. That's like being a gambling addict and not knowing what Vegas is.
Quagmire, you don't use the internet?
You mean that crappy dial-up thing that's a pain in the ass? No, I don't use the damn internet. I thought that was for nerds.
Oh, it still is, but nerds are also very hormonal. Quagmire should try Googling his name along with Rule 34 to truly see just how deep the rabbit hole goes. So Quagmire decides to check it out, and yeah, we think he likes it.
Just gonna go and check my mail over there.
You been lifting weights?
No.
Well, today we learned that Quagmire didn't have the internet and is also a lefty. What a productive episode. Something tells me he's gonna need a priest to come and bless that home after he's done. The things done in there would make a nun burst into flames. And Quagmire would bless us with a little wink wink nudge nudge when the discussion turns to beads and Cool Hand Peter.
We are going on a road trip. We don't know how long we'll be gone, and don't expect a call from us to check in.
So the guys are planning a guys-only road trip to the wonderful city of New Orleans. The city where you can buy a hurricane, throw up in an alley, and buy another hurricane right next door. Oh yeah, and there are beads and topless women.
I tell you one thing, it's all about the beads down there.
But when it comes to beads, Quagmire only has a certain kind in mind. And if you don't get what he's talking about, you're probably too young for this channel. But we still appreciate your patronage and your parents' lack of supervision.
We all know what's going on here. It's just implied, but we all know what's going on in this thought bubble.
And now we know Quagmire has done pretty much everything after a game of Never Have I Ever in the Perfect Castaway.
We're your friends. We're always there for you in your time of need.
Especially when you provide the free beer.
So the guys join Peter on an important fishing trip and they decide to pass the time with a little Never Have I Ever. A classic party game. A few more beers later and they can move on to Spin the Bottle and 7 Minutes in Heaven.
I'll go next. I never had sex with Cleveland's wife.
Kind of a pointed question there, Joe. What if someone said, never have I ever pooped myself as an adult? Actually, Peter would probably have to drink for that one. But as they keep going, they soon realize everything is apparently pointed towards Quagmire.
I never gave a reach around to a spider monkey while reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, God!
Look, you can't be a pilot and not expect to become a little world-traveled. Getting handsy with a spider monkey is a great honor in some countries. Don't hate him cause you ain't him.
I never did the same thing, but with someone from Joann Fabrics.
Oh, God, this is ridiculous!
And Quagmire would try to honor his newfound daughter, and no giggity, no doubt, stepping up and becoming a father figure in the girl's life.
You don't look like you're in high school.
I got held back. You like getting held back?
So while chaperoning at a high school dance, Quagmire ends up going home with the girl he meets. Okay, not the greatest start for him. Let's see if he becomes undeserving of death by firing squad by the end. But when the two go home, they make a startling discovery.
Oh, giggity!
Wait, did you just say giggity?
Yep, looks like she carries the giggity gene. Apparently anyone related to Quagmire has an insanely high libido and a specific form of Tourette's that causes them to blurt out giggity when excited.
Can we get back to the fact that you're my dad?
Okay, yeah, so that is what's going on. And instead of kicking her to the curb like Glenn did with the last kid of his to wind up at his door, he decides to actually try and make an effort.
You know, you can move in here. I have an extra bedroom.
Yeah, and she can probably just cover up all the hidden cameras in there to make it nice and cozy. So Courtney decides to move in, sending Quagmire into full-blown dad mode.
I'm sorry, but I am not going to stand for any misogyny. Stop acting like a Neanderthal pig.
Those sound scary.
Oh, they were. And according to Quagmire, I guess they also liked making jokes about you sleeping with your daughter. But props to Quagmire for changing for his daughter. He even brings her along to work to see how the magic happens.
Grip it and rip it.
Okay.
Huh, I guess that phrase has a totally different connotation when it's directed towards his daughter and not another random woman. And things only get more insufferable when Quagmire manages to drag Peter and Meg into a daddy-daughter camping trip.
I know what'll cheer you up. Skits!
Skit, 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 skit.
Skits are fine when you have the power to turn off the TV, but out here in the woods? The only escape is Peter setting fire to the tents and going fully feral. But when they get lost on a hike, the stress of everything boils over for Quagmire.
Dad, I'm sorry.
I'm not Dad! I'm Quagmire! Glenn Quagmire!
Yeah, it turns out the dad life may not be for Quagmire. I mean, look at those khakis he's in. What happened to you, man? But nothing rekindles the relationship between a dad and daughter like the woods turning into one big pile of kindling.
I promise, if we make it out of here, we can start again. Deal?
deal.
It's a nice gesture, but go ahead and guess how many episodes Courtney appears in after this. You don't have to count on 2 hands. Or 1. Because the answer is 0. And Quagmire had 0 clue what Lois was asking for and got a bit too ahead of himself when Lois asked for some help with her carpet and no Meals on Wheels.
Kneel before Christ!
So when Peter gets some full-body pajamas, he becomes an absolute fiend with static electricity, so Lois opts to have Quagmire come over and help tear up the carpet. But we think Len might have misread some messages.
Yeah, I sort of misunderstood what you were asking for. That's why I rushed over, but it's fine. It's fine, whatever.
Another old-school euphemism that might go over the younger generation's head. And in case you're still confused about what he got all excited about, maybe this can help clear it up.
You like eating red carpet, tough guy?
Yes!
Say you like eating red carpet!
I like eating red carpet!
Still, good on him for being a good and helpful neighbor, though we doubt he's going to be as enthusiastic next time Lois asks to borrow a screw or 2. But the real Quagmire behind the scenes is enthusiastic about something a bit unexpected, as revealed in Inside Family Guy.
For the first time ever, you'll see what a typical production week is like for TV's 11th favorite family.
So in this meta episode, we get to see what everyone is like behind the scenes, and it turns out that they can be very different from their on-screen counterparts. Nowhere is that more apparent than with Quagmire.
I totally get that this thing is what made me popular, but would it kill us to just once tell a joke that brings glory to God?
Well, good for him, I guess. I'm sure playing a creep on TV is a tad better than being one in real life. But Lois quickly reveals that this change was due to a trip to rehab after a lawsuit.
8 years ago, Glenn opened a restaurant where he was spying on ladies peeing in the bathroom.
That's terrifying to hear, but the food was also really good, so this is a loss in more ways than one. And Quagmire would try to stop Meg from losing her teenhood with a down-to-earth chat and barely legal.
Is it bad if I saw Meg tie up Brian last night, put him in the trunk of his car, and then drive away?
Nah, seems fine. So Meg has become enamored with Brian, leading her to kidnap him and take him to a hotel for a little fun.
Good, old-fashioned, all-American fun.
Oh boy, they're gonna dump tea into the harbor? Occupy Hawaii? Accidentally drop a nuclear bomb in North Carolina that was one switch away from detonating the East Coast? Thankfully, the guys serving as temporary police officers bust in and shut things down before things get weird. And Quagmire knows exactly how to straighten things out.
I know what she needs.
You do?
You bet. Bring her by my house around 8:30 tonight. I'll take care of her.
Is that a threat? I don't know if I heard a more terrifying string of words to come out the mouth of an already pretty terrifying man.
I've been around the block a few times, learned a couple things, and I can tell you this. There's no reason to grow up too fast.
But he actually gives her a nice little chat about life and stuff. Not sure why he had to be in a tiger print Speedo for this, but I won't question his methods. Every now and then, he shows he can be a source of wisdom for the youth, but the youth should really have adult supervision with them if they're gonna talk to this guy. And zoo animals might need some supervision from him too, as T. Peter shows Quagmire entering into a relationship with a giraffe.
You ever accidentally masturbate to young pictures of your mom?
Who the starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
That line has nothing to do with what we're talking about here, but it's too good not to show. Anyway, Peter joins the Tea Party and ends up abolishing all government in Quahog, which means anything and everything can happen now.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
And apparently, local government was all that was in the way of human genetics commingling with animal genetics.
Giraffity! Yeah, see, that's not mine.
Yeah, well, good luck with all those child support payments. You'd better hope you're really stocked up on acacia leaves, Glenn. And when Quagmire and Peter stocked up on each other's underwear in brief encounter, they started to act as if their DNA had been swapped as well.
Quahog welcomes Duds and Suds, a new laundromat that serves beer.
So the guys learn about that genius new spot and realize that doing chores can finally be worthwhile. Until you get so drunk that you wash your clothes with Budweiser and you go to the hospital for ingesting Tide.
Oh, cool!
We should go.
Nothing better than putting on a warm diaper right out of the dryer.
Don't let their disapproving looks bring you down, Joe. Live your truth. And when they decide to give it a try, they learn Peter and Quagmire have similar taste in undergarments.
What are you talking about? He just wears run-of-the-mill Hanes.
Yours aren't Hanes?
No, mine are Plains.
I've never wanted to throw a tomato at a character through a screen more than I do now. Why don't you always wear your pilot's cap and run with your arms outstretched weapon style while you're at it? But it turns out that while they aren't much different in appearance, they do have quite a different effect on the wearer.
Giggity morning, everyone. Lois, can I see you in the other room for a second?
Sure.
All right.
But if Peter has Quagmire's underwear, then Quagmire, and more specifically his date, is in for a rude awakening.
But first, a dump so long I will be able to read everything Garfield ever wrote.
By God, the underwear is already seeped into his brain. Only Peter would sit on a toilet while reading the works of Brian Garfield. The underwear also seems to quickly affect Quagmire's sense of humor.
This is your captain speaking from the, cockpit.
Okay, to be fair, he probably would have followed that up with a giggity anyway. Perhaps he and Peter are more alike than they think. Much to ponder over. But after Quagmire gets beaten up by a giant chicken, it quickly becomes apparent what's happened.
He's wearing your underwear, and you're wearing his.
Interesting sixth sense you have there, Joe. Who knew reading all that Captain Underpants would open your third eye?
So your boys were where his boys were, and your boys were where his boys were.
As if this wasn't already weird enough, apparently Peter and Quagmire both carry boys around in their underwear. Perhaps they're more alike than they think. Much to ponder over. So the guys try to be normal over this whole ordeal, but normal isn't exactly a word in their big book of words whose name I've forgotten.
You should probably get checked. They say when you wear someone's underwear, you're also wearing the underwear of everyone whose underwear they've worn.
I've been saying that for years, as a matter of fact. The dangers are out there, so make sure you think twice before swapping panties with your homies. But it looks like there's no way they can move past this together, so Quagmire decides to take one for the team.
We accidentally wore each other's underwear, so Mr. Quagmire is moving.
You might be able to run, but you'll never unwear your buddy's underwear. Eventually, they realize this and come to accept that this blunder was just a sign of their relationship growing closer.
Underwear should never come between two friends.
Well, it kinda should.
yeah, kinda should, yeah.
Now that's a true friendship, one where you'd both risk a public indecency charge for one another. It almost brings a tear to my eye. If only clams had tear ducts. And if only Quagmire had looked more into his celebrity crush, he probably wouldn't be as traumatized as he was in A Fish Out of Water.
This is gonna be dangerous. We could all die.
Oh, come on, you're our best friend, Peter.
So the guys decide to accompany Peter on a hunt to kill a dangerous fish, which just gives them more time to drink on a boat.
Let's say none of us were married, all right? If you could have any woman in the world, who would it be?
What is it about alcohol that brings out the desire to talk about being with people other than your significant other? You'd think beer was specifically designed by Ashley Madison, but Quagmire probably has the most interesting answer out of the bunch.
Taylor Hanson.
Taylor Hanson's a guy.
Look, if you were around when Hanson was a thing, you'd know this wasn't an uncommon confusion. I mean, have you heard Bop? Great, it's stuck in my head now. But it turns out Quagmire had a lot of stock invested in this fantasy, and he does not take this revelation well.
Oh my God, I can't. Oh God, I got all these magazines. Oh God!
I'd be less concerned that you were attracted to a guy and more concerned that you were thirsting after a teen pop star. But when a rash becomes cause for concern, Quagmire's inner thoughts get broadcast to his closest friends and stuck together, torn apart.
What the hell is this?
It's the new police surveillance van.
So while out on a beer run in the high-tech police van, the guys spot Lois across the street at a diner with another man.
Hey, Peter, isn't that Lois over there in that diner?
Yeah, what would Lois be doing at a diner? I already ate.
Well, she's just catching up with an old friend. But it's that kind of mindset that would make Lois cheating on Peter one of the most expected things to happen on planet Earth.
Is it possible she's a I mean, just on weekends to help pay for her mom's dialysis?
That's quite the headcanon, Glenn. Do you have a Wattpad account where all this is painstakingly written out? Luckily, they can use the van's surveillance system to eavesdrop on the conversation.
I'm glad we both found someone to make us happy. I really enjoy being with you, Ross.
A perfectly fine sentence turned into a nuke without the context behind it. But Peter needs to hear more, so he cranks the dial higher than it was ever meant to go.
Damn, this itches. I wonder who gave it to me. Probably that who needed a ride to the gas station.
These kinds of thoughts were never meant to be heard by mere mortals. Quick, Glenn, distract them with some scat. Verbal scat, I should clarify. And Quagmire would try to help distract Angela from making advances towards him by almost helping him sleep with her in Peter-assment.
Why are you calling me at home?
I want to hear you breathe. Breathe into the phone for me, Griffin.
So after Angela starts treating Peter inappropriately at work, Peter's worried that she's going to ask to have relations with him soon.
If you have with her, you give her all the power. If you don't have with her, you're gay.
A moral dilemma birthed from many a conversation over the high school lunch table. But with little to no options available, Quagmire comes up with an idea that just might save him.
Okay, close up. All right, let me get lined up right so she'll think it's you she's having with.
Better hope the bedroom is dark and that she respects your wishes of making love fully clothed. Some say it's an even more exciting way of doing it.
Oh, she's so ugly. I don't want to get in that. Peter, I'm not gonna do it. Deal's off. Deal's off.
Oh, so suddenly the guy who would sleep with a wet toilet paper roll has standards. Well, they don't go through with the plan, but Quagmire still tries to get something out of this interaction.
This is awful timing, but I remembered part of the reason I came over was because my cousin is looking for a job at the brewery.
Well, there'll be no slipping in tonight, but Quagmire can at least slip his cousin's resume under the door. But Quagmire would regret offering similar help to Brian after the dog scams him and Brian the closer.
Brian, we can try to make you feel a little less repulsive, but we're not spending human money on a deformed animal.
So after Brian suffers a horrible accident that causes him to lose his teeth, he decides to go and numb those bleeding gums with a little whiskey.
Your face looks like a used condom.
Yeah, I know.
And that was Quagmire being nice to Brian. But he either wants to be a little nicer or just shut Brian up, so he decides to do him a favor.
Take this.
What is this?
That's my dentist. He'll bill me. I've got an account.
Dental work is not cheap. This genuinely might be one of the nicest things someone has ever done for Brian, and it's coming from a guy who'd rather see him bloodied and covered in tire tracks. So Brian gets himself a brand new pair of chompers, and they seem to make his world a lot brighter.
They're spectacular. You look like a movie star.
Really?
Heck yeah, you're the second coming of Gary Busey. Now he just needs to be more aggressively loud in situations that don't call for it. But while he's not getting mistaken for a celebrity, he is getting mistaken for a real estate agent.
Hey, so sorry I'm late. Let me show you the house.
No need to. Your partner already sold us on it.
I guess all you need to be an agent is a Cheshire smile and a suit dunked in mustard. So the real agent gives Brian the suit, and Brian becomes one of the top-selling agents in the area.
Anyone can sell a nice house, but a real star is someone who can sell a dump.
I can sell anything.
He could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves, shoes to a man with no feet, a third thing to a third person. All he needs to do is find a big enough schmuck to take the bait.
All I can say is, underpriced waterfront property that's guaranteed to appreciate in value.
Oh yeah, the guy that fixed your life and made you a new dog. Definitely seems like the kind of guy you want to ruin. So with a tantalizing and totally legit promotional video, Brian convinces Quagmire to go in on a luxury apartment that's actually a huge dump.
It's probably nothing, but there's a stain on the rug in the shape of a little kid.
Darn kids running around and getting eviscerated by the void. So Quagmire has 72 hours to back out of this deal, but unfortunately for him, Brian's harder to find than an analogy for this scene.
Brian, what are you doing? I'm hiding from Quagmire for a few more hours. After that, he won't be able to pull out of that deal.
No, but he'll probably be pulling each individual tooth from Brian's mouth by the time he finds him.
Welcome home.
Ah, hey there, buddy. There you are.
So now that Quagmire has him cornered, Brian realizes he has nowhere left to run. I guess the only thing he could do now is plead to Quagmire's mercy and humanity for a few more seconds.
And that is 72 hours. Enjoy your crap hole, dumbass.
Yeah, Brian wasn't responsible enough to own those teeth. Honestly, he's just lucky Quagmire let him keep his eyes. And Meg's lucky Quagmire was there to teach her how to fight, otherwise she might have died at the hands of her bully in a Fistful of Meg.
3 o'clock, Friday. I will destroy you.
So Meg's being targeted by the school's newest bully, and it looks like she has little chance of survival.
What am I gonna do?
Sounds like you have a pretty big problem, Meg.
Luckily for Meg, this is one of the 2 days out of the week when Quagmire's in the office. Hybrid work is just one of the perks of being a career creep.
I'm so dead.
No, you're not, because I'm gonna help you defeat Mike Pulaski.
Turns out Quagmire wants to lend a hand because he too was bullied in high school, and the damage done had lasting results on him.
It's one thing if you put your inside out in the safety of your own bedroom, but to have it done in the cafeteria?
Yeah, I would say that explains a lot about this guy. Now he probably pays good money to get beaten up by a woman. So Quagmire starts to help Meg train, deciding to focus on her greatest assets.
He may be stronger than you, but you're grosser, and you're gonna use that. Your weird body can be a dangerous weapon if used properly.
Lowering her self-esteem before a big fight is a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
You ready for more?
Are you?
It turns out Quagmire was right, as Meg's body can have the effect of a nuclear warhead when used in a fight. So sorry to all the kids watching who are about to suffer from nuclear runoff for the rest of their lives.
Not bad for a loser.
Thanks for your help, Mr. Quagmire.
And thanks for showing up to the fight. I know that was probably tough for you since you're probably legally not allowed anywhere near a school. And Quagmire would find it tough to get out of his marriage, leading him to try to have relations with Peter to convince his wife he was gay and the Giggity Wife.
I need you to call my pimp and tell him I quit.
Oh my god, I married a hoe.
So Quagmire got hitched to a lady of the night after a bender with the boys, and he's willing to say and do anything to get out of this relationship.
Please tell me I'm not married to some Nancy boy.
Why? Would that be a problem?
Of course it would be. Nobody wants to be married to a guy named Nancy. They want a manly name like Taylor or Lindsay or Sandy. But if you're not from the 20th century, that just means a guy who isn't into women.
Well, Charmise, I have something to tell you, and this isn't easy. But I'm gay.
But anyone can just say that. Charmise is gonna need proof. And not just the silly kissing you and the homies do when you're bored.
Let me watch you have sex with a man.
What?
This is just how things are settled in the streets where Charmise is from. Hope she brings an ample amount of ones to throw at him during. So Quagmire just needs to find a willing participant.
I need you to have sex with me while she watches.
Can't tell if Peter's shocked he asked this, or is surprised it took Quagmire this long to muster up the courage. Either way, he agrees to do a solid for his buddy. Or do his buddies solid, as Quagmire would probably put it.
What the is going on with my life?
And now it's time for the moment of truth. Peter and Quagmire are gonna get it on and fulfill the wishes of a very small subsection of the fanbase that has been waiting for this ship to happen.
I want to do gay things for you.
I crave your groin.
Easy there, you just have to convince Charmise that you're attracted to each other, not star-crossed lovers bound together by the strings of fate. But nothing ends up getting poked or prodded because Charmise calls it off when she realizes it's all an act.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Just do it.
Wait. Stop.
Aw, and just before we got to the good part, lifelong mental scarring. And Quagmire would scar Brian with a long, meditated roast session in the episode Jerome is the New Black.
What Quagmire thing?
Oh, just that he hates you.
Quagmire hates me?
Hates you.
So Brian learns that Quagmire doesn't care much for him, so he tries to do everything he can to buddy up to him.
She's a hot piece of ass, and from the looks of it, she likes it rough.
That's my sister, Brian.
Sheesh, suddenly you can't even compliment a friend's sister anymore. This world has gone soft, I tell ya. Honestly, things would probably get better between the two if Brian just didn't open his mouth, but that's like asking a dog not to go sniffing through the garbage.
He's savagely beating her again, you hear that?
Yeah, I'm not deaf.
Oh, what, like my brother?
So Brian decides to trick Quagmire into going to dinner with him to try to win him over. I'm sure he won't have any hang-ups about Brian posing as his lost love.
Cheryl was the one that got away. She was the great love of my life.
Yeah, but you know what's just as fulfilling as rekindling a lost love? A dinner with your neighbor's dog. The world would be a lot happier if people started doing that more.
So, whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Must be more of a what the deuce kind of guy. So after an awkward dinner of Quagmire silently wanting to stab his ears with steak knives, Brian finally questions why Quagmire doesn't like him. And from the sound of it, Quagmire's had this answer prepared for a long time.
You are the worst person I know. You constantly hit on your best friend's wife.
He's right, but Quagmire probably should have started with something he also doesn't do. But there's plenty more to hate Brian for, and Quagmire's got enough ammunition to fuel a small island revolt.
God, you're pretentious. And you delude yourself by thinking you're some great writer even though you're terrible.
Yeah, that's more like it. In hindsight, this is a criminal getting on his high horse to be a douche, but somebody had to tell Brian at some point, I'd imagine.
That's the worst of it, Brian. You're just a big, sad, alcoholic bore.
Oof, Brian might need a cigarette after getting railed that hard. Again, a lot of what Quagmire's saying may be a tad hypocritical, but it doesn't make it any less true.
I'll see you, Brian. Thanks for the steak.
And Quagmire would be a hero, even if he didn't intend to be, when he saved a woman from a heart attack in blind ambition.
Would you just sit down and go to the bathroom already?
So after being caught as a peeping Tom, the women of Spooner Street band together in order to get rid of Quagmire.
We have had it with his disrespect for women. We're petitioning the city to have him removed from the neighborhood.
Settle down, Loretta. The city's only taking suggestions from characters who are actually going to be around in a few seasons. But to prevent this, the guys decide to try to reform Quagmire out of his gross ways.
Here's this month's Victoria's Secret catalog.
Oh God, oh God.
Extreme problems require extreme solutions. Much like guns, cars, and dogs the size of a small horse, if he can't use his thing responsibly, he does not deserve to have it at all.
Okay, Quagmire, time to take off your training wheels.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Unfortunately, everything reminds him of doing the dirty. What happened to the days when playing in a fountain topless with your friends wasn't considered dirty?
I need some air. I need some air!
But in an effort to separate himself from all these distractions, he ends up stumbling into creep heaven.
This is where we monitor all the dressing rooms in the mall so we can keep an eye out for shoplifters.
You don't say.
Maybe Quagmire should look into changing his profession. Getting paid to spy on women? It's not every day your hobby can become your career, but when he sees a woman having a heart attack, he rushes over to handle the situation.
That was amazing.
You saved her life.
Thank God you know CPR.
What the hell's CPR?
Well, the woman's alive, and I guess that's what matters in the end. And this will be good publicity for the store. Price is so good they'll give you a heart attack. And Quagmire would save more lives when he decided to sacrifice himself to save Brian and Meg from a horde of cats in Family Cat.
Oh, hi. If I knew my lap was gonna have visitors, I would have changed my rowing underwear.
So the Griffins end up taking in a stray cat, and of course, they decide to consult with their resident cat enthusiast about it.
Oh, such a sweetheart. Oh, you are why I give up my Sundays.
You see, it shouldn't be the cats that get the annoying reputation, but rather the cat owners. Or maybe that's actually just Quagmire.
Catnip is a Class B narcotic. It is a drug.
What are you, a narc? What a cat decides to partake in the comfort of their home is between them and their cat god. But maybe Quagmire should have taken a closer look, because with the little cat scratch fever, Pouncy seems to get Meg under her spell.
You're mine now, Meg.
So this is how furries are created. I finally get it now. And when Meg goes missing, it takes the unholy alliance of Quagmire and Brian to get her back.
Sometimes, when they find the right person, they enslave them to do their bidding for the rest of their lives.
Hey, somebody's gotta be the one to feed all the stray cats in the area. You don't gotta also reek of cat pee 24/7, but I think it just comes with the territory. Brian manages to track her down to an abandoned house, and the legion of cats proves to be too much for him to take on. Luckily, Quagmire shows up in time to talk her down.
Cats are amazing, but they're also complete and you're too young to give it all up for them.
Okay, see? The cat lover said that. I don't want to see any more comments about how I'm too hard on cats. And somehow, Quagmire convinces Meg that she has much more going for her than he does, and he decides to be the crazy cat lady to save Meg.
A new day has begun.
An honorable sacrifice, doomed to reciting lyrics from Cats for the rest of his life. Give him enough time and he too will look like those nightmare creatures. But Quagmire would manage to save a nightmare scenario on a flight, safely instructing the guys on how to land it in Airport 07.
Peter, what the hell? My car! Oh, damn it! Hey, come back!
So things start off pretty rough for Quagmire, not only with that, but also with Peter stealing the fuel from his airplane for his new truck.
What the hell? Oh my god, we're going down!
Just another day flying Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines will probably get you home. So while Quagmire manages to make an emergency landing, he ends up losing his job.
I feel like this is partially my fault.
Now, Peter, it's perfectly normal to siphon jet fuel from an active runway with—
Phew, good to hear. That means I won't have to stop doing it either. Gas should be a universal guarantee, and the day I pay for gas is the day the world ends.
The only thing I know how to do is fly a plane. That's what I was born for. And I'll never be happy unless I can do it again.
So Peter figures all they need to do is make Quagmire the hero of another plane emergency. Ignoring the potential hijacking charges, that sounds like it could work, if Quagmire remembered to get on the plane.
Peter, I don't see Quagmire.
Oh, that was great.
Look, a pilot can't fly properly without some pre-flight coitus. It's in the employee handbook and everything. So it looks like Quagmire will have to pivot and coach Peter through landing the plane from the ground.
Take a firm hold of the throttle and pull the red mixture knob out slowly.
Why do I feel like Quagmire's foreplay sounds a lot like this? But with enough sensual instruction, Quagmire gets the guys safely on the ground and gets his job back.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you guys. You put yourselves on the line and you gave me my life back.
And made this whole pilot thing look easy. Next time a Boeing loses a door mid-flight, I know I'll have the confidence to simply intervene. And Quagmire would make sleeping around look easy when he throws a festival dedicated to all his conquests and fighting Irish.
Hey guys, I got something for you. An invitation for each of you to Quagfest.
So Quagfest is a self-made festival Quagmire's putting on to, how should I put this? To celebrate the 1000th time he's put his thing in another thing.
1,000 women?
Well, 1,000 sexual conquests. No further questions.
Might need to do a recount on what qualifies as a conquest. Someone's gotta tell him that a Pringles can with the sponge and the rubber glove does not count. So Quagfest is in full swing, and there's a ton of attractions to experience that all definitely require you to sign a waiver and an NDA.
Oh, look, here's a simulation of what it's like to have sex with Quagmire.
Finally, a breakthrough in how to give people digital STDs. But the festival also pays tribute to all the ethnicities Quagmire's been with as well. Some are a little more questionable than others.
There's Italy. And there's Thailand. Wow, they're young. We should go.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt this whole thing is just one big honeypot for the FBI to bust. But the tributes keep coming as Quagmire eventually brings out his very first.
Here she is, all the way from Weathersfield Elementary School, Miss Eleanor.
You know what? Lock her up too. She's probably the reason Quagmire turned out the way he did. Lock everybody involved with this up, honestly. Just not before the grand finale of the night.
My 1,000th sexual conquest is this largemouth bass.
I know he said no further questions earlier, but nah, I'm gonna need a lot of answers from him. That fish probably isn't even of age, you sick freak. But at least it's a main event that'll send people home, well, probably not happy. Inspired at best, choking on vomit at worst. I can't wait for Quagfest to roll into my town so I can get the full Quagmire experience. But Quagmire would use his other expertise to save an entire flight from would-be hijackers in passenger Fatty 7.
This plane now belongs to us. You move, you're dead. So nobody try to get smart.
So while coming back from a trip to California, the guy's flight gets hijacked by a set of vaguely European thugs.
Why are you doing this? America needs to be punished for supporting the other side of my country's civil war.
Never mind what country or what war he's talking about. Sometimes you just try to hijack a plane when you're mad. My therapist suggested the same thing to me. Luckily, the guys managed to defeat the hijackers, but they didn't account for a secret backup hijacker.
Thanks for keeping us in the sky, boys. Now reach for it.
You really can't trust anybody nowadays, especially someone in a blue-on-blue fit. They're either on their way to hijack a plane or perform in an abstract musical performance. There's no in-between. But even when he's at gunpoint, Quagmire still knows how to take control of a situation.
You ever been to Vegas before?
No.
Well, I think you're gonna flip for it!
Yeah, it's too bad Quagmire had to take him out. He might have actually liked Vegas. Where else can you put up your whole house on a single game of blackjack? So the hijackers are subdued, but the military still thinks the plane is en route to crash into Vegas.
We knocked out all the bad guys. See? We don't need your help. We kicked their asses and we have their guns.
But even when the fighter jets shoot down the plane, Quagmire's still able to make an emergency landing that saves everyone, and gets out some of that pent-up excitement.
Oh yeah, right there. That's good. And now to discharge the plane's fire retardant.
So Quagmire's a hero once again, but I don't think he's gonna call that canyon back. But he's not gonna be able to run in 9 months when there's a rock baby saying giggity. But every superhero needs his theme music, and Quagmire just so happens to have his own, as first seen in Breaking Out is Hard to Do.
Quagmire, what are you doing here?
Oh, it's conjugal visit day. You know I love doing a woman in the can.
So this episode introduced us to Quagmire's iconic theme song, which pretty much sums up all you need to know about him.
It's Quagmire, Quagmire.
Giggity, 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 let's have
With a theme song like that, maybe he should have been the one that got a spin-off. It's just too bad we didn't get to hear it more in other episodes. There was a deleted scene from the episode Airport 07 that gave us another dash of Quagmire hijinks.
Giggity, 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 go.
And who could forget the lesser used but equally popular version when he lost his memory and thought his name was Shirt Pants.
He's shirt pants, shirt pants.
All I know for sure is I'm wearing a shirt and pants.
Now all we need is Joe to get a theme song and all the guys will be on even ground. Maybe get someone else to sing it for him though.
Joe is on a vacation far away. You call them up to talk it over.
But Quagmire would get even with the guys after a night of torture by staging a fake kamikaze run in Halloween on Spooner Street.
Me, Joe, and Quagmire do this thing where one of us is it, and then the other two of us nail the crap out of him with awesome pranks.
So this Halloween, Quagmire is it, which means he's about to be susceptible to a few harmless, good-spirited pranks.
Gotcha!
Ha! Hepatitis C!
Joke's on you, I already got it.
A more obvious phrase has never been spoken. Nothing a little trip to Africa can't fix.
All right, what this is has no name, so you can't have it.
If Quagmire could open his eyes, he should see the look on his face. But after the pranks died down, they decided to just chill out and learn a little bit about themselves.
My grandfather was a pilot for the Imperial Air Force during World War II. Flew a kamikaze mission in the Battle of Midway.
That's insane. I knew Midway made some fun games, but I didn't know there was a whole battle fought over them. And so the guys decide to end the night by chilling in the Air Force graveyard, and Quagmire has a crazy idea.
You guys want to go for a ride?
Ah, sure!
Hell yeah!
It sure was nice of someone to leave the keys in there. The holidays always get me in the kamikaze spirit too.
I can feel my grandfather's Japanese blood coursing through my veins.
That might still be from whatever mosquito Peter got to bite you. But Quagmire seems content on taking his revenge too far.
You know what they call this in my country?
What?
Payback!
So it was all a ruse just to get back at Peter and Joe for a night of hell. He's not even Japanese. I guess that just makes him a weeaboo. Did we miss your favorite Quagmire moment? Let us know what it is down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already.